Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar and you're watching India Business Hour live on our YouTube page at 7 p.m. every weeknight, 60 minutes ahead of the TV broadcast. Here are the headlines that we're tracking at this hour. The Lal Street declines for the third week in a row for the first time in 5 months. Hawkish commentary and earnings weigh on the market. Sensex and Nifty end at a one-week low. Shares of newly listed companies like Idea Forge, Sirma, Avalon, Dreamfolks struggle after a big bang debut, but shares of new age companies like Zomato, Paytm, PB Fintech and Delivery rebound as balance sheets get stronger. Government is likely to expand the third phase of the FAME subsidy scheme for electric vehicles after the current scheme expires in March next year. Sources tell us the outlay for FAME 3 could be more than 40,000 crore rupees. That's an exclusive. Linda Yaccarino, the first CEO of Twitter under Elon Musk, says she has complete autonomy to run the business. Also adds that she's partnering Musk to transform Twitter into X, which aims to be an everything app that allows payment processing, video calls, among other things. That's a CNBC exclusive. US President Joe Biden calls China a ticking time bomb because of its economic challenges. Says China is in trouble because of weak growth at a political fundraiser. HCL Tech shares soar in trade after bagging a $2.1 billion deal from Verizon to manage their business customers. The management stands by FY24 revenue and margin guidance. LIC Chairman Siddhartha Mohanty says that he sees the trend of positive growth to continue despite lower than expected first quarter earnings. Says that they see margins in the range of 20 to 22% in 4 to 5 years against current levels of nearly 14%. Monsoon session of Parliament comes to an end. Both the houses of the Parliament adjourned sine die. The Lok Sabha saw 45% productivity. Rajya Sabha productivity was slightly better at 56%. 26 bills were introduced in the Parliament. 14 bills were passed by this in the monsoon session. The government tables a bill to overhaul criminal laws, repeals the clause that deals with sedition, but punishes endangering unity and integrity of India even by electronic communication or by use of financial means with life imprisonment or a 7-year term. The new bill also categorizes mob lynching as murder. Bombay High Court pulls up civic authorities in Mumbai over bad roads and potholes, admonishes the municipal commissioners who promised to make Mumbai pothole-free within 3 years. Well, let's start the show with the market action. Now, hawkish commentary from RBI and earnings continued to weigh on the Lal Street. Sensex and Nifty ended the day and the week in the red. Now, this is the third straight week of losses for the stock markets, marking the worst losing streak in the last 5 months. Now, mid-cap index ended the Friday in the red, but mid-caps managed to end with marginal gains, outperforming the blue chips. Well, meanwhile, 8 Indian companies have entered the MSCI Global Index in its latest rejig. The stocks added include Ashok Leyland, HDFC AMC and IDFC First Bank. Now, according to analysts, this will add nearly $1 billion into Indian stocks. Meanwhile, ACC has been excluded, which could result in outflows of nearly $100 million. Well, companies like Idea Forge, Sirma, Avalon and Dreamfolks made a strong market debut, but since then, the shares have been seeing a decline. Nigel D'Souza is here joining us with a report card of the newbies on the Lal Street. Take a look.
New companies that came on, the IPOs, well, they had plenty of promise. They have plenty of concepts as well. And there's plenty of potential as well in there. But the worry is, are these new kids all right? And I'll tell you why. Because in the past quarter, some of them, they have seen a compression in terms of margins. You have EMS companies like Syrma as well as Avalon. The story is very, very good, but the compression in the margins is a bit of an issue. You have IdeaForge as well, which is a very good story, the drone story out there. But there's a compression in margins, and Dreamforks as well, which basically deals with the service costs that take rate out there. Out there as well, we saw some bit of compression in margins. Even a couple of other names, new companies that did get listed, like Keynes and Ikeo Lighting. Well, on a year-on-year basis, in fact, the margins, they're not much of an issue. The problem is that the Q4 of the last fiscal was very good. And from there, there's been a little bit of a come-off in terms of margins. So that's been a bit of an issue. Short point is, for the first quarter, the street has got a little bit nervous with regard to their performance. Now, let's run you through the oversubscription. Some of these companies got oversubscribed big time, barring Avalon. Otherwise, just take a look at the subscription out there. But from the highs, they've corrected quite a bit. Some of them, barring a Syrma that's down only around 5%, as well as a Keynes that's down around 7%, some of them have seen a correction of close to around 15 to around 25% odd. Moving to the next point then. Well, at highs, some of them, valuation-wise, were very, very expensive. But since we have seen a bit of a pullback in terms of the stock price, well, they're not cheap, but they have good concepts and good potential as well going ahead. So valuation-wise, they've become a little bit more cheaper in comparison to what they were at the top. Finally, what do you track from here on? Well, the order books, that's very, very important since bulk of them were EMS companies. So the order book needs to swell up. Then you focus on execution and margin performance from here on. Some of these managements have joined us here on CNBC-TV18 and they said, the past quarter is a one-off, things will improve from here on. And finally, the competitive intensity is likely to pick up in the EMS space. So can they all prosper? Well, that's something that time will tell. For the time being, though, the street got a little bit worried with these new IPOs. Are the kids all right? That seems to be the question.
Well, as the newbies struggle to find their feet, new age companies, the likes of Paytm and Delivery, are finally turning a fresh page thanks to strong quarterly earnings. Now, food aggregator Zomato witnessed the profits for the first time in the June quarter. Paytm also turned operationally profitable. Losses narrowed down for both PB Fintech and Delivery. In fact, brokerages also improved their views on the stocks of these companies. Well, now to commodity news. Sugar prices surged amidst global production shifts and supply concerns. This as Thailand and other major producers in Asia grapple with substantial reduction in sugar crops. Furthermore, the International Sugar Organization has forecast a deficit in sugar production for the year 2023-2024. In fact, back home in India, the government maintains that sugar stocks are sufficient as of now. Well, moving on to the big corporate story of the day. HCL Tech shares soared in trade today after it bagged a $2.1 billion deal from Verizon to manage their business customers. Now, the 6-year contract can add over 1% to the IT major's yearly revenues beginning November of this same year.
Absolutely, delighted to share that, yes, it is HCL Tech's largest services deal and thereby a significant milestone in our services journey. When does it start? It starts from November of 2023. And then, yes, it goes on from there 6+ years. And specifically in terms of revenues, every year, of course, is a little varying. But at the same time, we specifically the revenue for this financial year is something, it will be aligned to the market guidance that we have already provided most recently.
Well, ITC's chairman and managing director Sanjeev Puri addressed shareholders at the company's 112th AGM. He said that the demerger of ITC Hotels business will sharpen capital allocation. He further said that the continued interest of ITC in the demerged entity will provide long-term stability and instill a sense of assurance among partners, investors and employees.
The continued interest of ITC in the new entity will provide long-term stability and instill a sense of assurance amongst partners, investors, and employees, while enabling the new entity to leverage ITC's institutional strengths, including the timeless goodwill, world-class brands, and governance processes. For ITC, the reorganization will sharpen capital allocation, improve asset efficiency ratios, and unlock value for its shareholders, as well as enable leveraging of institutional synergies.
Well, the government has recorded net direct tax collections of more than 5.8 lakh crore rupees in FY24 until the 10th of August. That's a jump of 17% on a yearly basis. Now, this tax mop-up is over 32% of the budget estimate for direct tax for FY24. Now, government's direct tax refunds also rose nearly 4% during the period to 69,000 crore rupees. Meanwhile, India's industrial output growth has slowed down in the month of June. Index of industrial production grew at 3.7% as against over 5% in the month of May. Consumer and non-consumer durable were the biggest laggards, while growth in mining and electricity improved significantly. And in the auto sector, the union government is likely to continue supporting the electric vehicles with subsidies. Sources tell us that the first draft of the third tranche of the FAME scheme, which purposes an outlay of 40,000 to 50,000 crore rupees, is almost ready. Parikshit Luthra is joining us now more with exclusive details. Parikshit.
Yes, the first draft of the FAME 3 scheme is ready, and we believe that the government is looking to support the industry with the 40,000 to 50,000 crore outlay in the third phase of the fast adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles scheme. Now, this will have to be finally approved by the Prime Minister's office, by the Finance Ministry, and also by the Cabinet. So let's see what happens in the days to come. But it's very clear that an announcement on the FAME 3 scheme, on the next set of support from the government on electric vehicles, could come very soon. We believe that the FAME 3 scheme could go beyond electric cars, electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers, buses, and may cover electric quadricycles, electric trucks, and electric bicycles as well. So it will be a rather substantial outlay that will also go towards electric charging infrastructure and public transport, especially electric buses. The government is working on both demand and supply side incentives. So we may also see new PLI schemes. A PLI, for example, for components of ACC or components of electric vehicle batteries, such as anode, cathode, separator, electrolyte. The government is also considering a PLI scheme for niche battery technology, so that there could be work on future battery technologies that happens in India. So all of this is in the works, and we believe an announcement could come in soon.
Right, Parikshit, thanks a lot for that. Now, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has called for serious efforts led by rich countries to restructure debt in vulnerable economies. Speaking virtually at a G20 session, the Finance Minister said that multilateral development banks are not equipped enough to address demands to expand their lending operations beyond the core development mandates. She further said that the Indian G20 presidency is focusing on strengthening multilateral development banks. Meanwhile, Google will not remove applications of the startups that have challenged its in-app billing policy from its Play Store till August of 18th. The tech giant informed the Madras High Court that as it is heard the startups' petitions challenging an order dismissing their pleas. The court, which issued a notice to Google, will hear the startups' pleas for interim orders on August 18th. And India's oldest airline has a new avatar. The Tatas have given Air India its biggest makeover since its inception. In fact, 9 decades ago, CNBC-TV18's Madiha Mujawar takes us through some of the key changes that you can now see.
Speaking of the Maharaja, the rumours of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. The Maharaja will live on.
And he has new clothes, with a dash of purple and gold on his sleeves, a jewel in his turban, floral print on his tunic, and slightly understated shoes. It's an avatar that's supposed to bridge the old Air India with the new, in keeping with the airline's new mission statement.
Our aim and job is to make this airline a truly world-class and iconic airline that every Indian will be proud of. The vision we have for the airline is also in the backdrop of a new resurgent India.
The Maharaja's new clothes are not the only change. Air India has a new logo. The flying swan, stylized with the wheel of Konark, is gone, replaced by the words Air India butting against the top portion of the iconic Jharoka windows, which were once the airline's signature. It also has new livery to boot. Its aircraft will wear shades of red, gold and purple, replacing the old red and white getup.
Air India was traditionally a red and white brand. We've introduced color. We've got this lovely purple that cues premiumness, and introduced this way of doing the gold for the frame, which is at the heart of the identity, to give it an almost tactile feel. And we've also got a signature pattern. And this also comes from our identity itself, which is from our existing tail fin. It's the chakra which we've used to actually create our pattern, which you're going to see across the identity as well.
The Tata Group has high hopes from this rebranding, setting a course to fly India's oldest airline into a new, modern era while not banishing its legacy outright.
A $400 million refurbishing exercise has also kicked off with the promise of modern seats upholstered in the new colors that offer more comfort, redesigned cabins equipped with modern in-flight entertainment systems, and of course, new carpets. Interestingly, the new colors clearly draw inspiration from Vistaras, a sign that the Tatas acknowledge passengers identify more with brand Vistara over brand Air India, and a sign that Vistara and Air India will one day merge, in keeping with the Tata Group's long-term game plan. In Mumbai, Madiha Mujawar.
Well, in an exclusive conversation with CNBC, Linda Yaccarino, the new CEO of X, formerly Twitter, has clarified that Elon Musk and her roles at the company are clear and that she has the autonomy to run the company. Twitter has seen many advertisers exit the platform after a reported rise in hate speech since Elon Musk took over. Yaccarino claimed that the social media platform is much safer than what it was just as close as a year back, introducing new safety tools.
Elon focuses on product design. He leads a team of extraordinary engineers and focuses on new technology. So think about it as Elon is working on accelerating the rebrand and working on the future. And I'm responsible for the rest, running the company, from partnerships to legal to sales to finance, all the things.
And you have autonomy in doing that?
Yes, I have autonomy in doing that. I have a great partner in Elon. It's been 8 incredibly supportive weeks. By all objective metrics, X is a much healthier and safer platform than it was a year ago. Since acquisitions, we have built brand safety and content moderation tools that have never existed before at this company. So if you're going to post something that's illegal or against the law, you're gone, zero tolerance. But more importantly, if you're going to post something that is lawful, but it's awful, you get labeled. You get labeled, you get de-amplified, which means it cannot be shared.
Well, you can catch that entire conversation at 9:30 p.m. tonight, right here on CNBC-TV18. Well, on to a Network 18 initiative. Rising India She Shakti conclave took place in Delhi today with an aim of recognizing the remarkable contributions of women trailblazers from varied sectors. In attendance at the event were President Draupadi Murmu, Union Minister Smriti Irani, singer Asha Bhosle, actor Shraddha Kapoor, among others. At the event, President Murmu said that in the Amrit Kal, India will be able to create its place in the group of developed nations with the contribution of Nari Shakti.
मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि अमृतकाल में नारी शक्ति के योगदान के बल पर भारत विकसित देश के समूहों में अपने अग्रणी स्थान बना सकेगा। महिला शक्ति के बिना एक स्वस्थ, सशक्त और विकसित समाज की परिकल्पना संभव ही नहीं है।
Well, with that, slipping into a very short break, but coming up on India Business, our monsoon session of Parliament comes to an end. How productive was it? Details in just a bit. And well, you can also catch all CNBC TV18's news and updates on Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. Well, you are watching India Business Hour. The top national story today, a stormy monsoon session of Parliament dominated by opposition protests over Manipur violence has drawn to a close on the penultimate day. The government defeated a no-confidence motion moved by the opposition parties. So how exactly productive was this monsoon session? Well, according to the PRS legislative research, Lok Sabha's productivity stood at 45% and Rajya Sabha was just a little better at 56%. A total of 26 new bills were introduced, of which over 24 were passed in the Lok Sabha. In today's session, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman put forth the Central Goods and Services Tax Amendment Bill and the Integrated Goods and Services Tax Amendment Bill. Both these bills were passed in the Lok Sabha without any debate after opposition walked out.
20 बिल लोकसभा में इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ, 5 बिल राज्यसभा में इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ और 22 बिल्स लोकसभा में पारित हुआ, 25 बिल्स राज्यसभा में पारित हुआ. The opposition, for the political reasons, they did not participate in the discussion. Only in one bill they participated in the discussion.
अगर इस देश में हिंसा हो रही है, दर्द हो रहा है, हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री को 2 घंटे मजाक नहीं उड़ाना चाहिए. विषय कांग्रेस नहीं था, विषय मैं नहीं था, विषय मणिपुर है. भाषण नरेंद्र मोदी जी के बारे में था. वो अपनी राय, अपनी राजनीति, अपने एम्बिशंस वो आपको दे रहे थे. सवाल ये नहीं है कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी 24 में प्रधानमंत्री बनेंगे या नहीं. सवाल ये है कि मणिपुर जल रहा है.
Well, speaking of the monsoon session, the government has tabled a bill to overhaul the criminal laws. The bill will repeal the clause that deals with sedition. However, the amended bill adds a new clause that deals with endangering unity and integrity of India. A comparative evaluation shows that electronic communications and use of financial means have been added as tools of perpetuating an act endangering the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Offence under this section is punishable by a 7-year jail term compared to 3 years under the sedition law. The new bill also categorizes mob lynching as murder.
मॉब लिंचिंग का बड़ा शोर मचा है, हमने उसको केयरफुली करा है. मॉब लिंचिंग के लिए भी 7 साल आजीवन कारावास और मृत्युदंड तीनों का प्रोविजन कर हम प्रावधान मानने वाला है.
In international news now, US President Joe Biden has called China a ticking time bomb because of its economic challenges, speaking at a political fundraiser. Biden said that China was in trouble because of weak growth. Pointing to the country's high unemployment and aging workforce, he said, and I quote here, "They have got some problems. That's not good, because when bad folks have problems, they do bad things." End of quote. However, Biden insisted that he does not want to hurt China and wants a rational relationship with the country. And well, rising vegetable prices back home have taken a toll on the common man's household budget. In June, an average veg thali in a household cost no more than 24 rupees, but that very same thali now has risen to more than 37 rupees in July. Now that's as per CRISIL report. However, for non-vegetarians, the situation is slightly better. CNBC-TV18's Abhimanyu Sharma assesses the surge in prices of a veg thali.
Is non-vegetarian food costlier than vegetarian food? Truly it is, but the rate of increase in the price of a vegetarian thali has been far more than the price of a non-vegetarian thali in the past couple of months. According to a CRISIL report, the price of a vegetarian thali grew by as much as 28% between June 2023 to July 2023, while the rate of increase of price of a non-vegetarian thali was less than 12%. Almost all ingredients used in this vegetarian thali have grown costlier in the past few months. Tomato prices have risen 233% from rupees 33 per kg in June to rupees 110 per kg in July, while the month-on-month increase in onion prices was as much as 16% and it was 9% for potatoes. several restaurant owners and homemakers have resorted to the use of several alternatives for tomatoes as well as several other condiments while trying to ensure that the taste remains the same.
फ्राई में रेट नहीं बढ़ाया, हमने फ्राई में टमाटर डालना बंद कर दिया, दाल सब्जी में कम कर दिया टमाटर, क्योंकि ना कम कस्टमर से ले सकते हैं ना कोई देगा और नाम लगा सकते हैं इस रेट में, तो इसलिए उसका यही है कि उसको जो चीज़ महंगी है उसको कम कर दो।
हमारे जो भाई साहब हम प्यूरी लगा नहीं सकते क्योंकि टमाटर का जो नेचुरल टेस्ट जो है वो टमाटर से ही आता है। हाँ, इतना ज़रूर है, जैसे 20 किलो टमाटर लगता था तो उसको हमने 2 किलो कम कर दिया उसको एवरेज लाने के लिए, लेकिन क्वालिटी से कोई समझौता नहीं कर सकते। अगर हमने क्वालिटी डाउन की तो ग्राहक गया।
जैसी महंगाई बढ़ रही है वैसा होटलों का टेस्ट भी जा रहा है, घरों का भी जा रहा है। टमाटर का तो पूछिए मत, टमाटर का तो बगैर टमाटर के खाना ही नहीं बनता। अभी हम खा रहे हैं इधर रेगुलर, जब भी दिल्ली आते हैं इन्हीं के खाते हैं, मगर टेस्ट थोड़ा बदल गया है टमाटर की वजह से।
टमाटर तो खाना तो दूर की बात है भैया, देखना भी दूभर हो रहा है। मैं गया था अभी, हमारे यहाँ बाजार लगता है गाजियाबाद में, मैं बाजार में लेने गया तो बोला 160 रुपये किलो। मैंने कहा भैया तू ही रख ले, मुझे नहीं खाना है।
Many small restaurants have resorted to use of several alternatives for tomatoes and several other products while trying to maintain the same price, and they are trying to absorb losses as well as remain profitable. However, the bitterness of food inflation is very hard to avoid, not just for common consumers, but even for small and big restaurants.
Well, with that look at a veg thali, it's time now for wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.